Yeah, it makes a big deal. And, a coaching moment. So what you need in your organization is a dashboard that's on everybody's virtual. So it needs to be on their screen when they log into their system so they can
Hmm.
see real time how customer service is being handled, real time how sales are going. Because, as you grow, building out your sales team is huge. So you want to have that dashboard so everybody in the organization can see who's selling, who's performing, who's doing what. And it just keeps it fun, keeps it exciting, creates competition, and it helps everybody hold themselves accountable, and you can put those standards up there. So again, it's all about setting clear expectations, exactly what you expect and when, and measuring that performance. So if you're on a football field and there's no yard markers and no
Hmm.
end zones, man, you're just running in circles. All
Hmm.
right. So if you've got those yard markers, this is how many sales you need to make today. This is, how many call, whatever it is, and you've got that dashboard and they're looking at it, it makes it fun. It's almost like a video game. Yeah, yeah, you're infinitely scalable. That's what's cool about what you're doing. Your
Hmm.
key is going to be the support on the back end. You're only
Hmm.
going to be as good as the support that you can provide for your customers. So that's more important than sales. Not every business that I got involved with was successful. Some did better than others. Not every real estate deal that I did was super successful. Some did better than others. Whenever I step outside of, what's working for me and take my attention or my eye off the ball, that's when things can start to go wrong. I backed some guys in a restaurant venture one time and lost a bunch of money because I just, I didn't pay attention. I trusted them. I just backed them. They were high level guys from Outback Steakhouse. They had great training, but they weren't entrepreneurs. And they were operators, and I kind of trusted them to do things, and they just didn't know how to do it, didn't know what they were doing, and I lost a bunch of money in it. So that taught me a valuable lesson. Um, and in my one lesson, and I'll parlay that to some of the biggest mistakes I've made in my company is taking people who I want people to grow. I want people to get to the next level, right? And in leaders, that's kind of within you. You want to help people grow. You want to help people get to the next level. Not everybody wants to go to the next level. Not everybody wants to advance. They might say they do, they might think they do, but they may not really. So some of the mistakes I made early in my career was taking people that I thought had potential to advance and putting them in a leadership role or a management role when they weren't cut out for it and they didn't really want it. So, I put a couple of people in management positions early on in my building company that failed miserably because they just weren't cut out for it. They didn't ask for it. I went to them and told them and convinced them that it would be good for them. So the people that were the most successful that worked for me and then the businesses that I was involved in are the people that came to me. So that's one thing in an organization to make sure is if you're looking to promote people, they need to come to you and they need to be looking for more on their own and saying, hey, I want more and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to grow and advance. Just like I tell people just starting out and saying, hey, how can I get somebody to take me under their wing? Go find the best in the business doing what it is that you want to do. Go to work for them, offer to do anything for them. Even if you got to work for free, just say, look, I just need an opportunity. I just need a chance. I'll do anything. I'll take out your trash. I'll run papers to the closing attorney, whatever you need done. I'll go sweep up when the guys are done, whatever you want. I just want to learn. So all of the most successful businesses I've been involved with had operators that came to me and said, hey, I want to do this thing. They were either in the business as a manager and they wanted their own, or they were already in business and they wanted to grow and scale. They sought me out. They came to me and said, hey, I want to do something. And then I took them and helped them go from there. So that's a big one to be mindful of is
Hmm.
not trying to promote the wrong people just because you think everybody wants to advance, because not everybody does. Yeah. Let them come to you. Let them show the initiative. Let them take the initiative. And it's kind of like wealth, right? Everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants $1 million, whatever they think rich is. And then when I ask them, well, do you really? And they're like, well, what do you mean? Well, do you really want to be wealthy? Do you really want to be financially independent? Because do you know what it takes to get there? Are you willing to do what it takes, whatever it takes, morally, legally, ethically? Work 16 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours a day if you have to, 7 days a week. Give up going to the movies, your Starbucks, hanging out with your friends. Are you really willing to do everything it takes to be successful morally, legally, and ethically? Well, I don't really have time to work 20 hours a day. Well, then you don't really want it. If you want something bad enough, you'll go make it happen. If people in your organization want something bad enough, they will find out a way to make it happen. They'll come to you and say, hey, I've got this idea. I'm willing to work nights, weekends, whatever it takes. I want that job. So a real estate investment company,
We'll say like a wholesaling, fix and flip operation just to
okay.
cater towards our typical listener here?
Yeah. So wholesaling fix and flip, if I had to start over, again, I would go, in a hot area where there's a lot of demand, there's a lot going on, and you have to build it from the ground up. So you got to start yourself by doing things. If you don't have any money, then, you can call FSBOs, expireds, Craigslist, all the typical things that you can do that are free, to find leads and generate leads, go to real estate meetups, things like that. Talk to investors, find other investors that are doing deals and buying and paying cash, learn from them, find out what they're buying and where and why. When you talk to a cash buyer that's doing a lot of deals, flipping that you want to wholesale to, you can learn a lot about your market and learn a lot about real estate by talking to them and listening to them. Don't go to them and say, hey, what's your criteria? The little standard checklist. Go to them and say, I want to know what you know. All the way down to what color are you looking for? What color do you paint your houses? What do you put in them? What are you looking for on the streets that you buy on? What kind of neighborhoods? Is there a certain size? Tell me intimately what you're looking for. And then you go be that resource for them. That's really the easiest way to get started. Meet cash buyers, find out what they're looking for. They will teach you the market. They will teach you how to value, how to do comps, all of that kind of stuff. And then you go shopping for them, more so than just trying to call any random FSBO and then trying to go sell that thing. Mm-hmm. Go find where, so I heard an analogy the other day. If you're going to open a restaurant, like you just asked me, if you're going to open a restaurant, what would be, if you could have anything at your disposal, what would be the first thing you would want as a new restaurant? A lot of people would say the best food in town. Some people would say the best location in town. Some people would say an unlimited marketing budget, right? Those are all great things. I want a starving audience. So you got to go as a wholesaler to a starving audience. Find the people that are flipping houses, that are paying cash. You can find them at real estate meetups. You can find them online on Facebook. You can find them through real estate agents. You can find them through title companies. Call them up, say, who's your cash buyers flipping houses? I'm a wholesaler. Go find that hungry audience, find out what they're looking for, and then serve them on a silver platter. That's how you get started in wholesaling. You can start doing what you can do yourself. Your second step would be an administrator. So a lot of people call them a lead manager. What I've always hired in every business I've ever done, and what I would do there is you need an office manager / administrative assistant / lead manager / you need somebody who can do anything and everything on all levels for you and take everything off of you so that you can focus 100% on serving the deals to the cash buyers on a silver platter. And then as you grow, then you expand, that, and you decide, well, am I going to continue to do, face-to-face appointments? Obviously, as a wholesaler to scale, you have to get comfortable and learn how to do virtual sales and closings. You got to be able to buy properties and tie them up on the phone and not even have to visit the property. A lot of people say, well, how do you do that? You have to do that with your investor buyers. So you call, you find the deal, you talk to the seller on the phone, you agree to a price, then you send your investor buyer out and he does the rest of the vetting for you. So that's how you do virtual wholesaling, and on a high level and a scalable level where you don't have to know, you no longer have to go on the appointments. Some people don't want to give that up. That's fine. However you want to do that. So then your next step would be, to scale, you've got your office manager first. Your office manager is your lead manager, everything else. In order to scale and grow from there, then your acquisitions people can be your lead managers as well, because they're either doing it on the phone or they're going out to the appointments. And then, that administrator can serve as your disposition manager until you get to a point where you need somebody focused on dispositions. A lot of companies will do it a couple of ways. They'll have their acquisitions, dispositions all in one and let those people do as many deals as they can do, and they'll fill them out. If you're virtual, you can have people that are just acquisitions and people that are just dispositions. But once you've got a good core list of buyers that you're working with, that are going to perform, you really don't need anybody. You just send the deal to them once you get it tied up. So your acquisition guy can be your disposition guy, if he's got his core buyers, right? And that's really the way you want it. That's really the way you want to streamline it, so you don't have to have all these multiple layers. The last thing is ultimately to remove yourself. I know there's a mantra in the business out there to hire a COO. I don't promote that philosophy. That's a big title and a big salary for a small operation. Wholesalers, and that's a small operation. You're not a $50, $100 million company. You don't need a COO. You need a general manager. You need somebody to manage the organization. Hire a general manager at a reasonable salary, and then give them incentive for every deal that happens on their team. give your teams reasonable salaries and incentives for every deal that happens. So everybody's incentivized. They all have ownership, but you're a wholesale operation. You're not a multi-conglomerate. You're not a big corporation. You don't need these big titles, because with big titles come entitlement, and expectations. So that's what happens in those organizations. When you call somebody a COO, there's something that happens, and it usually doesn't end well. So I always tell them, that general manager is your next step. You're the CEO, you're the COO, you're everything you need in a wholesale organization. And, and then if you start branching out and you're doing different things, then your organization can maybe grow and evolve if you're doing 10, 20, $30 million. But if you're doing a couple, 200-300 transactions a year, all you need is a general manager, a good office administrator, a couple of acquisitions people that also are your dispositions, and then you just kind of add those layers as you go along. It's pretty simple.